Hey there. So, yesterday and the day before, we have been spending some time discussing about happiness, and the ultimate conclusion that I share with you is you equals to happiness. So, after thinking through, I thought what is also very important to address, knowing that the happiness is our being, it's our choice, it's our decision. Now, the truth that matters, every day we have close to 50,000 thoughts that arise in our head, and 80% of them are always negative thoughts. So, after doing more statistic analysis and also more finding around it, the truth is it takes 7 seconds for us to have a negative thoughts arise in our mind. Whereas it takes close to 20 seconds for us to have a positive thought that comes out. So in another word, it takes close to 3 times as long for a positive thought to arise versus a negative thought. So naturally, negative thoughts arise much faster and much more frequent comparing to a positive thoughts, right? So that if you, I thought about that and say, if you made a decision wanting to be happy, how do we counter the nature of our mind? Right? So there's something that I realized after listening to Stephen Covey and also Harv Ekers and some of the motivational speaker, something that I thought that could be very helpful, which has helped me for the past couple of days since I've been working on it, is about developing our personal mission statement. Now, when I speak about personal mission statement, it is about basically defining and visualizing how will we respond to any situation that is triggering a negative thoughts in our mind, so that when we positively project that as a statement and affirm that on a daily and regular basis, that might just counter the negative thoughts that comes up and help us to acknowledge that and reverse that process. So if you want to know how to define a mission statement for yourself, that is when I like to share the techniques that Stephen Covey shared in his book of seven Habits of Highly Effective People. So the 5 elements that is contained in a personal and effective mission statement has 5 elements. So first element is about being personal. Second element is about having that positivity messaging. Third element is about being able to use and relate to a present moment of the situation. And fourth, it's about visualizing what could be the possible environment that triggers us to behave certain way. Last but not least, it needs to be emotional. So it's really about being personal, being positive, being present, using present tense, visual, so that you can visualize how the behavior will look like or how the situation will turn out. And last but not least, is emotional enough for us to relate into the situation. All right, so let me read to you one of my personal statements that I have for myself. Now, I am saying, as a business owner, all right, I feel deeply satisfied by committing to be a strategic thinker, a wise decision maker, consistent executor, and empowering people in growing my business profitably and sustainably, even when facing challenges and unknowns at times. So if I analyze this, I is actually personal to me. Feeling deeply satisfied is basically very emotional for myself. To be committing to become a strategic thinker, wise decision maker, consistent executor, and empowering people, all these are positive and affirmation of actions that I will be taking in growing my business to be profitable and sustainable, even when facing challenges and unknowns at times. So it's also visualizing the possibility of the unknowns and also the challenge that I will face, and help me to bring a positive spin by becoming present in that. So with this, it's very important also to share with you, by defining my personal visual statement, it's not the end of it, right? This is the beginning of helping me to realize how I would like my days to become and how I can affirm my mission statement so that I can have the rest of my day starting on the right way and ending on the right way. So after defining this personal statement, which I recommend you do the same for yourself, I then will spend like 10 or 15 minutes a day to visualize what could have been a challenging situation or the unknown situation, so that it helps me to anticipate what could come out as something that is beyond my expectation when it comes to running my own business. So when that happens, how am I going to handle that? This is when I commit to my present tense of commit to be strategic thinker, to be a wise decision maker, to be someone who is a consistent executor so that I take action on the right time, on the right way, and empowering people to do the same. So that ultimately the goal is to become positive and to become also profitable and sustainable in my business. So this way, it helps me to affirm myself, it helps me to remember my values, it helps me to consciously choose how to focus my mind on the positive when something that is not so positive comes up, and help me to consciously acknowledge the fact that there will be challenges, there will be unknown, but it is no longer something that can upset me, and help me to have that positive ability to go on with the situation. Right? So I am actually committing to myself to go through my personal statement. Now, if you look at this, there's a couple of different role and different personal statements. It is because I find it very effective, as Stephen Covey pointed out. Different role requires different values and requires different way of handling them. So the best thing for me is to make sure that I define my first couple of priorities role that is in my daily routine, and help me to orientate myself towards creating a positive outcome of it. So this way, when I'm in that moment, I choose consciously the role that I'm playing, and then make the right decision in line with my own values. So I wish you to take the time to do the same. All right, remember, forming your own personal statement, it's only the beginning of helping you to achieve personal effectiveness and helping you to counter the possibility of negative thoughts. All right, so and the 5 element of an effective mission statement is about being personal, being positive, being using present tense, that you will be able to visualize for yourself when that happens, and being emotional so that it can connect to your values and it can connect to who you are. And once you complete this personal mission statement, sit down on a daily basis, spend time to visualize. All right, 10-15 minutes a day, spend time to visualize. If something happens in my business, how will I handle that? If something happens in my personal life, if I'm a wife to my husband, if we have a different opinion, how do we handle that? How would I visualize that we will have a positive conversation around it that is effective and constructive, so that we will both end up having a mutual understanding and move on, even though we might not agree to the decision or to the opinion. So that way, not only it helps me to be effective, it also helped me to create a positive environment, and more than that, it enabled me to stay in my happiness zone. So I hope the same can happen to you, but the only way to find out if this works for you is you need to take actions, and you need to create your own personal statement, and you need to visualize this. All this takes work, takes commitment, takes courage, takes discipline, and I believe you can do that, right? As long as you realize you equals to happiness, you will be able to handle that. So I hope you like this video, and welcome to share your thoughts and comments, and even share your experience after defining that. All right, bye for now.